First and only reading of Emergency Ordinance 2021-48E, authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a which the Council of Sharonville hereby approve the collective bargaining agreement with fraternal police patrol officers for calendar 2020 through calendar year 2022.
Is there a motion to pass ordinance 2021-48E? So moved by Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Lippert. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Emergency Ordinance 2021-48E has been approved. First and only reading of Emergency 2021-49E, authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract which the Council of Sharonville hereby approves, approving the collective bargaining agreement with Fraternal Order of Police, representing Sharonville Police Sergeants for calendar years beginning 2020 through calendar year 2022.
Is there a motion to pass ordinance 2021-49E? So moved by Mr. Tankersley, second by Mrs. Knight. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Emergency Ordinance 2021-49E has been approved. And this is just a first reading of Ordinance 2021-59, creating new Health, Safety, and Sanitation Code Chapter 521.17, chronic nuisance property or premise. And this is a first and only reading of Resolution 2021-R14E, resolution to appoint a Chief Executive Officer, a Chief Financial Officer, and Project Manager to submit a State Capital Improvement Program application to the State District Public Works Integrating Committee and authorizing the execution of an agreement with the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Cornell Road Culvert Repair Project.
Is there a motion to pass resolution 2021-R14E? So moved by Mrs. Knight, second by Mr. Lovett. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-R14E has been approved.
Okay, this will be the last opportunity for any residents that wish to be heard this evening.
Here, I read some of the violations.
Can you give us your name, please?
Oh, my name is Akash Patel.
Okay.
Yeah. Was a former, Mike Wilson was my principal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He said, I'm sorry.
He's very intelligent.
He does.
Yeah,
Well, what year did you graduate, now that we want to know?
2020.
Oh, 20.
Yeah, he was my 2019 when I was a
Okay.
junior. Yeah. So, so as I was reading here, like, it said that like alcohol overdose and all, and if the police comes here, they'll be counted as violations. But like Mike said here, like how are we supposed to know? You know what I mean? Like we're not giving customers, like we're not giving rooms to bad customers. You know what I mean? But just looking at this, I think it's unfair to yours because
Okay, I'm going to refer you back to Mike,
Mike.
who kind of started all of this,
Yes,
and he
this.
brought this to us.
Okay,
And council talked about it, and everybody came up with this
this ordinance.
ordinance, okay?
Okay.
But Mike is the person that you need to speak with at this point.
Okay.
You should have his phone number. I'm
Yeah.
going to assume he'll be in tomorrow. If he was out sick today, I would give him maybe a day or two.
Okay.
You have plenty of time for your voices to be heard,
All right.
okay? Plenty of time.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Nope.
Do you still trust me? Mike, yeah, go Vikes. Mike is a great listener. He'll listen to what you have to say, and I believe you guys are coming with the right attitude. So,
Thank you very much, yes.
it's great to work with. Yeah.
Mr.
The point, I mean, what I think you want and what we want, I hope, are all on the
Same
same
thing.
page. We want you guys to flourish. We want you to be able to have a business that works well in the city, because when you put people in your beds, we get money from them, right? So you get money, we get money, the city does better. You know, that's what we all want. We also want you to have folks that are following the law that are coming to stay in your hotels as well. So I hope that the fact that you're here, you show that you want to be good partners with the city to make that happen. So why we've hired Mike to be our hotel liaison is to be able to be a sounding board for us to work with you as hoteliers and helping you to keep the unwanted tenants and the unwanted renters out of your facilities so they're not causing problems for you, not causing problems for us here in the city, because it's not good for you, it's not good for us, right? So the goal is to have this dialogue so that the enforcement piece of it, this that we're talking about as far as that ordinance, never has to be used. That's our goal. I think that's your goal. The fact that you guys are coming here means a lot, okay? That's not every hotel entity that exists in Sharonville, okay? So, but that's why we hired Mike. That's why Mike Mathis is on our payroll, to be a resource for you and for us to be able to be kind of that proactive piece to avoid us having to do as a result of the issuing of this ordinance. So I think a lot of the questions you have is how do you control these issues, not necessarily the ordinance itself. But that's what Mike will sit down and talk with you a little bit.
He will help and work with you on that.
If there are things that you think can be changed, that might be, that's some of the things we want to hear. But again, at the end of the day, what we want to be is, and what we want you to be, is to be good partners between us as a city and as you as hotel owners, to make, because at the end of the day, we all flourish. But it doesn't help when we have folks that are doing things that are illegal within the city. Come on, got to talk to the mic. So,
But at the end of the day, like, he has, what, like 160 rooms or something, and I only have 20 rooms. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, Sharonville is not a big market, like, to fill. It's not busy as Westchester, that people are, like,
we're busier than Westchester.
We are busier,
Hotels,
yes.
hotels?
We are one of the busiest hotel communities in this part of Ohio.
Really?
We have more hotel rooms than downtown Cincinnati has.
Yeah.
Oh,
or
wow.
equivalent. Yeah,
Oh.
I mean,
I didn't know that. But I was just
Yeah.
talking about, like, the clientele, you know what I mean? Like, professional people are not going to come here and stay with us, you know what I mean? Just because
They're staying at the Hyatt.
the
and
Hyatt. Yeah, so, but,
Marriott and the La Quinta.
Yeah, yeah.
and some
So
of those places.
some of those places, right? But I have a small independent motel. None of those, like, like, white-collar people are not going to stay at my motel. And I have to make a living. Like, I have to pay you guys taxes, and I want to succeed. I want to flourish, like he said. So I have to rent some, you know what I mean? Like, bad clientele. And if I get punished for that, I think it's not, like, my fault or like, hotelier's fault. That's what I'm trying to convey the message here. That we should not get violations for, like, we have a good understanding with the cops. We know they're here to help us, but I don't think we should get punished for renting people rooms that feeds us. That's our biggest concern, I think.
What is this?
The lady came to my hotel on 18, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Okay, she put her son into my place about 10 days. Now today I have to kick him out with the PD help. She dropped off at my place. We are not inviting them. The trouble they bring us. We don't have any control regarding drug overdose or drunk people walking on the properties. You can check back of the paper. She paid $300 for the property damage. We don't have no control regarding all these matters, like overdose. Last Monday
Keep going.
we have ODs, and there's a guy from street. He just came into my room. One of the fella bring him in. He overdosed, and we have like 6 or 7 cruisers, fire department, EMS, ambulance. Everybody's there.
Right.
One idiot. He's not supposed to be there. We don't have a control of these all this stuff.
And we understand that, and that's why Mike is here to help you, because as a police chief, he was a police chief in Springdale for many, many years.
Okay.
So as a former police chief, he understands. But you have to also understand too, it's our resources that we keep coming to your facilities.
Right.
It's things like that. We want to work with you. We want you to fill your hotels, long-term rents, whatever it is, with good people. That's that's what we're trying to help you and work with you on. So maybe he can give you tricks and tips on, okay, if this person comes in, you might not want to rent them a room.
We do.
Or, you know, that kind of thing.
We talk each side, or let's see, if I kick somebody out, I call them guys that, hey, not to rent these people, and they don't.
That's awesome. See, that's
Regarding
probably
this
something that
2019 and 20 pandemic.
my acting chief back there is cheering you on, because that's exactly what we want to see. You please do. Come on up. See, that's why we like you to come. We like lively discussions. Huh?
Proposed legislation, work with Mike on. He's done a study over a couple years with all the hotels in Sharonville. All the calls for service, all the police calls, all the fire calls, everything like that. And I think maybe 3 were close to getting to enforcement. Really difficult, that bar. The cops got 2 calls there. All right, we're gonna cite you. You really get up there to do that. And we worked in safeguards to this. So if there's an overdose, that doesn't count. Because under Ohio law, we can't even charge somebody with drug possession or anything like that. If a woman calls for a domestic violence, well, we're not going to penalize the woman for being the victim of a domestic violence where she might be in a safe place, and we're going to remove her out of there. And so we've built in safeguards for a lot of these calls that they don't count against you. So, I mean, if you read a lot over there, you can read a lot of the things that don't count against you. And, you know, in order to reach the bar, I mean, it has to be like almost a year's worth of nonstop calls there all the time. And what we're looking for is, you know, the places maybe in the hotel, but this ordinance is not necessarily geared towards hotels. It's any business.
It's any business.
It could be a bar. It could be, you know, a home. It could be an apartment complex. It could be anything, not just a hotel. If you read the definitions of everything, that's why we didn't write it hotel, because we have other problem areas other than hotels too. But you have to, like I said, you have to really, you know, reach that high bar. You know, we have a couple places that would, you know, they would bring in a renter, and they would cause problems. But to them, instead of kicking them out, I'm going to keep them here, and just keep calling the cops to have them pay for the damages or anything until they finally got fed up enough that they want to kick them out. Well, they've been living here for 6 months. They get mail. They've established residence in here now, where, you know, you could have gotten rid of them after the first call or second call, that problem that you had. Those are the problem people that we're looking to help you get rid of.
Since almost 9 days, and today I'm done.
I was going to say, how old was this kid?
He's maybe 16 or so, smoking, drinking.
And this mom rented him the room?
Finally today, after coming to leave, mom came and picked him up, and he's gonna rob some other hotel. The same thing. Tomorrow, some other hotel gonna call TV that, hey,
Well, hopefully not your crew.
they all know that, hey,
Yeah.
And so Mike's trying to work with the hotels to get you all on the same page, and so that if you have a problem person, you can tell this.
We can email it out.
And so that you
to
don't
everybody.
that you don't rent to cause the problem, because we have people that hotel hop.
see, many times church also bring gas, go to the police department, Christmas one.
Yeah, we don't do that. No more Christmas.
Yeah, I talked about it.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
2 years ago, right? I quit. We don't want to, because they're our own problem.
So, but if you get with Mike, like I said, we purposely built in safeguards to this, so, you know, you really have to not do, you know, you have to want to reach that bar.
There you go, sir. Thank you, and I'm sorry you had to kick that kid out today. But I'm glad you did kick him out, and I'm glad our officers were able to help you. Are there any other comments this evening? Other matters to come before Mrs. Knight?
Since next month is breast cancer, are we wearing our pink shirts the next two meetings?
That was, yes, next month we are wearing our pink shirts, and then in November we wear our blue shirts like Jim has on tonight modeling. So Mike and Jim are modeling our shirts for the next couple months. Thank you, gentlemen. Planned, I'm sure. Yes. Pink is October, yes. Pink in October. Asked to have an so is there a motion to go into executive session regarding the Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 regarding employment? So moved by Mr. Schmidt, second by Mr. Lovett. Roll call.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to an executive session. We will not be doing any other business when we come back out. We'll just have our adjournment. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming, and everyone else. Mrs. Cleveland, thank you for coming. Policemen, take those cookies.